Hi, Tokyo. How are you? You good? Having fun? I have extra time, so I can do a bit of banter. I don't have jokes though. I wanted to ask a question first. Is how many people in here run or work on multiple clusters? I don't mean multiple nodes. I mean multiple. I got one guy. Multiple clusters. Yeah. And how many of you find that super easy to manage? Okay. If anyone put their hand up, come on. You can do it. All right. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about cluster management. And so this is the lightning talk that I'll do. My name is August Simonelli. I work for Red Hat, and I'm part of the product management team there, but I also work upstream with the Open Cluster Management project. And so what is Open Cluster Management, or we call it OCM? If you've got more than one cluster, you need good standards-based management, right? You need a way that you are able to manage all these clusters, but that doesn't, that keeps it clear, that makes it simple. That's the goal of OCM, is to keep things simple. We're a sandbox project. We've been with the CNCF for a while now, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But we use a hub and spoke model, so it's a simple thing that you're probably very familiar with. But most importantly is we're modular, and we're very extensible. So if you have a project or a problem or a way that you want to bring something into many clusters, we probably can make it easy for you to add. Right now, we have multiple add-ons already. So if you want to do things multi-cluster wise with things like Argo or networking, OTel, we just saw a talk from them, we have add-ons that can make that work. And if we don't have an add-on that you want to use, you are able to create one yourself. So as you can see here, it can be done with a single command because the framework is solid enough to make that happen. So let's talk a little bit about add-ons and actually dive into them for a second. So add-ons are based on a structure where we have an add-on manager on the hub, and then we have agents running on the managed clusters. I'll just move that there. They're pretty straightforward. The add-on the manager will reconcile the state of the cluster against the hub. You just need to create the cluster manager add-on and then apply it with the managed cluster add-on. So that's the generic way, the manual way. But add-ons can also be added in a way where they allow you to join a cluster when it's automatically added. So you can kind of see the power of an add-on. The idea is that if you have a piece of software and you want to get that out across a lot of clusters at once, or to manage it, build it into an add-on, and you'll be able to do that quite simply with the framework we've provided. There's documentation, of course, as you saw in the other presentation, so you can join this and you can create an add-on for your project. And why? Well, because we want to get work across a lot of clusters, and as I said before, that's the way that OCM works. So we have a placement API that is used to put your work out onto those clusters, and we love it, right? You can use all kinds of things like labels and cluster properties and simple things like common expression language. Anything you need to do, we're trying to find ways to make that work. So you can score and prioritize cluster stuff by yourself, and that's nice and easy because you can get very fine-grained with how you place that work. What is work? Well, manifest work is our API for placing work, or for managing work, and it works hand in hand with placement. So the idea is that you create placement, and the work is then sent out to the nodes, well, to the clusters. So now is the really exciting part of what I wanted to share, and this is where we all sing. So we're not going to sing. I could sing because we have time, but we're not going to sing. Open Cluster Management has, we feel, reached a level of maturity where we're going to bring our 1.0 release. That's going to happen in the next day, minute, hour. You know how these things go, but that's coming along as the engineering team finishes a few things. It's been a fun journey. We've been part of CNCF, like I said, for 5 years, but it's kind of a neat slide when you look at the fact of the origins. This is a project that started in a unlikely place maybe with IBM and then has moved forward out into the community and become a very strong voice in the field of cluster management. So with that, I'm super excited to talk about a few of the things in our upcoming roadmap. So one area that's obviously being covered a lot is multi-cluster, or is AI workloads. But are you thinking about multi-cluster AI workloads? Great if you have one cluster and you want to run everything there. but you won't want to do that. You'll want to use many clusters. So we're already there, and we are working on a federated learning add-on. So that allows you to deploy federated learning frameworks like Flower out to those clusters via a simple CRD. So you can basically just place that out there, do your federated learning, the training and everything out, and get the benefits of federated learning. We're also creating an add-on for multi-queue, or for queue, to manage batch jobs. So if you're hoping to place queue work across many clusters, they have multi-queue. Well, we've got an add-on that creates an admission controller on the hub that will convert placement into queue instructions. So you can use placement, the placement API, to actually put your work where you want to in the way that you know how to, and it will be converted to a queue instruction, which will then be picked up by the queue admission controller and sent out to the nodes. What else? We're increasing agent registration robustness. So we had a community member and team that wanted to run OCM on EKS. The authentication was a little bit different there, so they wound up making it work with URSA. We have increased performance with gRPC. We're looking at ways to do that. Would love anyone who knows about that to join and contribute. And a lot with Spiffy and Spire, improving performance and security with those things. And again, it's all about collaboration, right? So I have to lean into this. It's all about collaboration, where we want you to come and join. We want to be part of this multi-cluster journey, because you all, as you showed me before, have a lot of clusters, but not a lot of management for them. So come along, see what you can do. The SIG-Multicluster team and group has actually just started an APAC-friendly time zone meeting, and that's on every other Thursday, so fortnightly, bi-weekly, depending on where you're from. Recommend you join and just see what's happening in the multi-cluster world. There's all different projects as a part of that, and that's super exciting. But more and more, it's about the add-ons. It's about you coming, helping us out, making multi-cluster reality, multi-cluster all the things that you can. And to do that, like as you're hearing in all these talks, please jump on and go ahead and join the community. And enjoy our birthday. There's no cake, though, sorry. Thanks.